Time for Change is the headline in this letter, appearing in the Sun Journal this past Saturday, and the author joining us this afternoon, and my apologies, I'm so used to doing the morning program and the afternoon program now, David Chadwick of New Bern. And with that, Mr. Chadwick, welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Well, let me start, Lockwood, by saying I am truly honored, and it's a pleasure to be on the air with such an outstanding broadcaster as yourself. I've listened to your show many times and been entertained and informed at the same time. Huh?
You're very kind. Thank you very much. I'm going to read bits and pieces of this, and let's go into the motivation behind this letter. I am a 59-year-old African-American man born and raised in Jacksonville and now living with my family in New Bern. And then you go on, I am insulted by the arrogance of the Democrat candidates. By the way, you use the word Democratic. I apologize. I've just edited I'm going to read it as he's written it. My apologies, Mr. Chadwick.
No problem.
I am insulted by the arrogance of the Democratic candidates during this election because they talk to us through their advertisements as if we are stupid. And, of course, I assume that you're talking about the African-American community, but let me just say, I would say that to the vast majority of all of the audience. I think, and I would also challenge Republicans as well, but definitely this has been a matter of dummying down the conversation. What motivated you to make this decision, to write this letter?
I heard an ad on a local radio station recently where there were two women talking, and it was obviously, they never said they were African Americans, but it was obvious that they were trying to imply that. Mm-hmm. And one said to the other, oh, boy, there's trouble in Raleigh. And the other one said, well, it can't be any worse than those Republicans trying to roll back our right to vote. And does anyone really think that the Republicans or the Democrats or anyone could take away the rights of the African-American community to vote? Does anybody really believe that?
And here's the other aspect of it. Be it African-American, Hispanic, Irish-American, now redheads, I've got a problem with. That's another story. But I've got one behind the wall window and board back there, by the way. But you know, if it can happen to one, it can happen to many, and then eventually it can happen to all. I agree with you, and I'm a little confused how we can demand access to information about people, and for that matter, for Social Security purposes, for having access to prescription drugs in the drugstore, or access to businesses if you want to go into. For example, we were talking earlier today with Willow Kelly, who was not in attendance but had advised everyone in advance of the public, actually it's the trial now on the issue of home insurance, that those wanting to attend in the Dobbs building in Raleigh, where the proceedings are taking place, she made mention of the fact you must have a form of identification. You must have an ID, a driver's license, your passport, something that identifies who you are. Well, and I'm intrigued that if this is something of that nature, why is it such a problem to ask Lockwood, are you Lockwood? Prove it to me.
Here's another interesting example of the same thing. The very station that I heard the ad on also runs disclaimer ads regarding the prizes that you can win on their station. And to pick up any prize that you've won, you never guess what you have to have.
Let me see. Wouldn't happen to be some form of identification?
Some form of photo ID. But you can vote for the most part. You can vote for the guy who has the codes to our nuclear arsenal without any kind of ID. But the whole thing of just being talked to like I'm looking right now on the Daily Caller at this flyer.
That flyer.
Kay Hagan doesn't win, Obama's impeachment will begin. And they've got a picture of someone being lynched here.
I'll tell you what. I have intentionally, let me bring it close to home. I have intentionally not looked at any of the videos related to the beheadings. And by the way, there's now an announcement of a deadline, I think tomorrow, or there will be another beheading in the Middle East. that is something that makes my skin crawl. The whole thought. That is a time in history which is horrible. And by the way, that is a history that goes back, unfortunately, thousands of years, and sadly, Mr. Chadwick, I fear will go forward in the future. We're seeing it right now.
But okay, so you...
But to use that as the motivator...
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, because if what you're saying is true, and I feel the same way. I haven't watched any of those beheadings either, because I want to see that. But what does it say about someone who uses something so horrible to influence you, to scare you into voting for them, when they know nothing of the sort like that is going to happen?
Right. All right. We recognize this now, and in the sense that this is not going to happen. My question to you, and I applaud your effort to speak out, not only as an African American, but as a voter, and I think that's the important aspect of this discussion. Ross and I were talking about this earlier. I mentioned a few moments ago. Liberals are quick to unfriend you in the case of a debate on the internet, or suddenly discovering that you really are a closet conservative. How dare you? The question we have is, how do we raise this up so that the debate is really on the issues and not on these false perceptions?
I think it's going to take some time to do, Lockwood. I don't think it's something that can happen as a result of watching a 30-second commercial. My views are not necessarily... I was asked recently, do I always vote Republican or do I always vote Democratic? I don't. I vote with the party that embraces my same philosophy for government. Listen, my wife and I own our own little business. We've had our own business since 2000.
And let me stop you right there and ask, what is that business? Because we do allow conversation of this nature. So what is that business? This is important.
Well, we provide business development services for mostly Oracle partners. So I have clients from all over the world, actually, and we work from home. But in my company, Lockwood, if I don't have enough money to buy something, I can't buy it.
Right.
Because if I continue to do business like that, I'm not going to be in business for long.
Right.
Okay, so even if it's the federal government, let me tell you this crazy story. I'll be brief. I was in Vegas not long ago at an Oracle convention. And I was staying in one of the major hotels on the Strip, and they were having a poker tournament there, and the winner was going to get $1 million. So I went to the convention that next day. I came back to the hotel. I'm relaxing. I'm watching TV, and I turn on one of the hotel channels, and when I turn it on, I see this guy sitting there. He's being interviewed, and he's sitting in the midst of stacks of money and gold coins. He was the guy who had won the poker tournament, okay? And the interviewer asked him, how did you get your poker skills? And he said, well, when we were kids, my family that was our Friday night entertainment. We would sit around the table, and we would play poker, and we'd bet buttons and pennies and dimes. And the interviewer said, well, for sure you didn't get your poker skills to win a $1 million tournament at the dinner table. He said, the game is the same.
Right.
Only the numbers have changed. So if I can't spend willy-nilly whatever I want at my little company, you can't do it at the federal level either without it having serious repercussions. And if you look at the whole picture, it will explain why we're having the economic problems we're having, why we're in this recession that we can't get out. It'll explain why the unemployment is where it is, but it's not a conversation that can be had in a 30-second commercial.
I applaud that comment. That is one of the challenges as the issues become more complex. And by the way, our guest, David Chadwick, he is the author of a letter to the editor, Time for Change. The issues have become so complex. For example, we'll just take a quick moment here, won't keep you too much longer, the topic of what's going on in the Middle East and ISIS, and whether or not we support the Syrian rebels. Do we support the Kurds? Do we support Iraq? It's a complex issue. It's going to take time. It's going to take, a lot of thought, a lot of debate. But that is not what we're hearing. What we are hearing is, as you said just a moment ago, sound bites And quite frankly, with that flyer that was distributed in Fayetteville, it's just picture bites as well. With about 30 seconds to go, Mr. Chadwick,
yes, sir.
Is there, do you think, enough momentum among the voters, black and white, to really want to seek out good long-term answers, or do they want just quick sound bites and quick answers?
I'm not sure. I think there's enough momentum for folk to try to find a good solution. I'm not sure we're equipped yet to understand the definition of a good solution, because it's not more. When I hear the politicians talking about strengthening this and strengthening that, what they're really talking about is tossing more money at it. Well, where does that money come from?
Yep. It's amazing how, to solve the problem with the Veterans Administration, it was a matter of just adding a few extra $1 billion. It didn't actually solve the problem, and in your capacity, working in the high-tech field, you understand. It's all a matter of systems. Stay with me, if you will, Mr. Chadwick. I really appreciate your time this afternoon. David Chadwick, our guest. He is the author of A Letter to the Editor, Time for Change. And I'm going to suggest, rather than, we'll just mention it on our, we'll post it, but I want to thank the New Bern Sun-Journal and want to commend folks. Read the newspaper, whether you like it or not. Do read. I'm sure Mr. Chadwick would agree with me on that one.
Absolutely.
You're listening to Viewpoints on the Talk Station FM 107 AM 1240.